example is from lesson 11, homework, which is basically applying equations and graphs in real life situation, but highlighting the graphing calculator. One of the few things that you need to remember is to always clear the memory of your calculator. So by simply going to second, then plus, then you have this information. You go either all the way down to 7 or just simply click 7 and then enter, then 1, then 2. Okay, memory is clear. Good. Then quit. All right. And then another thing that you need to pay attention is this radian. I mean, not like it is important now, but make it a habit to always make sure that it is on degree. So by simply going to mode, go all the way down to radian, and then using the arrow keys, go to degree. See that blinking, and then hit enter. Okay, you see from radian, now it is degree. Then again, quit. Okay, now, so for the purpose of this practice, we're gonna put the formula first. Okay, so you go to y equal, put the two functions. So the first one, which is the cos formula, 75 plus 5n. So in this case, instead of n, we're going to use x, which is the one next to alpha. Okay, enter. Then this time we're putting the income formula, 45 plus 7n or 7x. Okay, so the first question there was when is the cost going to be equal to income? So to do that, there are two options. It's either you go by the table or you graph the two formulas. So let's look at the table first by simply going to second, then graph, then you'll see the table. If you did this already algebraically, you know that n is equal to 15. So you simply use the arrow keys, scroll down all the way to 15, and you notice that you should be able to see that y1 and y2 are both 150. It only shows that it will take 15 students for the cost and the income to be exactly the same, which is, in this case, is 150 euros. Okay? Now, how can we see this particular information using the graph? So simply go to second. No, not second, but go to graph. Okay? Simply graph. You don't need to do a second, because if you go second and graph, you go to the table. So you simply hit graph. Now, as you see, you don't have the two lines or for the two formulas. So initially, from the table, you do know that this is the point of intersection. Okay, that the cost and the income has to meet at 15, 150, because that's the point of intersection. So to see that on a graph, so no, you simply go and hit graph. You need to adjust the window. So now that and then you basically have these all this information. So the x minimum is like the smallest possible x max is the maximum x value. This is scale, and you can think of these as your intervals when you are graphing manually. Y min is the smallest y values, y max is the greatest possible y values, The same thing with the scale, or which is the interval on the y-axis. So in this scenario, in this context, you know that 15 comma 150 is on the second, oh no, it's on the first quadrant, so you don't need to worry about the x minimum and the y minimum. You just need to adjust the x maximum and the y maximum and maybe the interval. So use the arrow keys. Let's say the x maximum is, let's say, 20, y 20, because you know the intersection is 15 comma 150, so you go a little bit up. Then let's go by 2, like the intervals on the x-axis. And then the y minimum, we don't need that. We don't need to change that. So the y maximum, since the y coordinate of the y intersection, of the point of intersection, is 150, so maybe we can go all the way to 200. And then we can simply keep one interval for our y scale, or the intervals on the y-axis. So then simply go back to graph. Okay, there you go. So now you do see the two lines are intersecting at this point. Now you want to make sure that you have the right intersection. So to check the point of intersection using the graph, you simply go to second trace. So since we want the intersection, you go all the way to 5, or simply type 5 on your keypad and then enter. Okay, the calculator will ask you the first curve. First curve is the same as first line. So you simply hit enter, because that's your first line. That must be the cost formula. Then the red line, or the second curve, which is the income, hit enter again. The calculator is going to ask you, guess, yes, enter. Okay. Then the blinking star will go simply into the point of intersection, and you can double check underneath. It says intersection 15 comma 150. So in the context of the problem, you know that the 15, that it takes 15 students for the income and the cost to be equal to 150 euros. And you're done. That's pretty much it on how to use your graphing calculator to check and verify your point of intersection. Let me know if you have any questions.